بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. This next section in our series on paradise and its delights, Hadi al-Arwah ila Bilad al-Afrah. The next section is about في ذكر معرفتهم بمنازلهم ومساكنهم إذا دخلوا الجنة وإن لم يروها قبل ذلك. People who enter paradise will be able to recognize their abode there, the place that they will be residing in, their palaces, their paradise. They will be able to recognize it even though they've never seen it before. They'll be able to recognize it. And as you'll see with the hadith that I mentioned, they will know it as well, if not even better, than they know their homes in this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and this is the verse in which we get this idea from, Surah Muhammad. Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَلَنْ يُضِلَّ أَعْمَالَهُمْ سَيَهْدِيهِمْ وَيُصْلِحُ بَالَهُمْ وَيُدْخِلُهُمُ الْجَنَّةَ عَرَّفَهَا لَهُمْ. Those who are killed in the path of Allah, their actions, they will never be wasted. They will never miss their actions. They will always find whatever they have sent forth. He will guide them and He will reform their affairs. He will enter them into a Jannah, a garden, عَرَّفَهَا لَهُمْ. عَرَّف ta'rif, which will be clearly described, shown and designated for them. Now on this, many mufassirin have provided different commentaries as to what this means. Mujahid says that the people who are deserving of each of these paradises, they will find the way to them. They will not make any mistake. They will not get lost. They will know exactly where to go. كَأَنَّهُمْ سَاكِنُوهَا مُنْذُ خُلِقُوا, as though they've been living there from birth. That's how well they will know them. You know, some people from the masjid back to their homes, from the school back to their homes, they know it like the back of their palm, they say. They could probably count the steps that they take. Even if you were to blindfold them, they'll probably be able to get home, generally speaking. So like this, you'll be able to find the place in Jannah. لا يستدلون عليها أحد. They won't have to ask anybody, where is my way, where is my way? They will know it very well when they see it. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu says, lahum, they will be more knowledgeable about their residences than the people who come for Jumu'ah in the world and go back home. You know how they know how to get back home? Likewise, these people will know where their place is. Muhammad ibn Ka'b says they will know just like the way you recognize your own homes in the dunya when you are returning from Friday or Jumu'ah or wherever you're returning from. Muqatil ibn Hayyan, another one, he says, it has also reached us, he doesn't mention his isnad or anything, but he says that it's reached us that there is the angel that is designated to record the deeds of the human beings. That angel will then come up on the Day of Judgment and will walk with this person in Jannah. He will walk in front. He will be your guide in Jannah. Just as he was the recorder of deeds in the world, they will be our guide in Jannah. And the human will follow them until he gets to his final abode. And this angel will then point out all of the different things that have been designated for him, Allah has made for him in Jannah. And then when he gets in and then he finds his maidens, his wives, his children, his whatever else Allah has made there, then the angel will go away. So that's a special guidance that will be provided for him. Others say that Allah will give them such an understanding because of the understanding that Allah has given of the descriptions of paradise. All of this will give you an understanding. Now, if you've heard a lot of description about a certain place, for example, a certain masjid in another country, or some friend's house or relative's house, and then you go there for the first time. Allah provides this divine intuition in a person that said, this must be the house. You've never seen the house, but this must be the house. So that kind of divine intuition will be provided there. There's a narration in Sahih al-Bukhari from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that when the believers have managed to get away from the hellfire, because remember, وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا, everybody's going to have to go over hellfire, over the bridge. That's going to be a critical test. If they fall in the hellfire, then they have to stay there. If they don't fall and they get over it, some people go very fast, some people go slowly, some people kind of just about make it across. When they've managed to escape from the hellfire, they will حُبِسُوا بِقَنْطَرَةٍ بَيْنَ الْجَنَّةِ وَالنَّارِ. They will then be stopped and prevented from going by a bridge between Jannat and Jahannam. يَتَقَاصُّونَ مَظَالِمَ كَانَتْ بَيْنَهُمْ فِي الدُّنْيَا. Now this is the place where if there is any outstanding rights owed to somebody else. Do I still owe somebody some money? Is there some abuse that I've given somebody? All of these things will have to be finally settled. Nobody can go into Jannah without these things being settled. That's why they say that Allah will forgive more easily than people will forgive. They want something in return. So yataqasuna, which means that mutually they will have to repay each other for whatever is outstanding of these rights between them. Hatta idha hudhibu wa nuqqu udhina lahum bidukhulil jannah. Until finally when they've been totally cleared and purified, no more rights left, no more baggage, no more burden, then they will be allowed to go into Jannah. وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ إِنَّ أَحَدَكُم مِّمَنْزِلَتِهِ فِي الْجَنَّةِ أَدَلُّ مِنْهُ بِمَسْكَنِهِ كَانَ فِي الدُّنْيَا. By the one in whose hand is my soul, every one of you will have a better understanding and direction towards his abode in Jannah than he has even in the world to his own house. So in the Musnad of Ishaq from Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, it's related, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that by the one who has sent me with the truth, you are not more aware in this world, knowing your family and your abode, than the people of Jannah, knowing their families and their abodes when they enter Jannah. So we know this, you don't have to worry about it. Basically, if there is a Jannah for you, we will get to it. That's the conclusion of this. But this is to show that it will be a simple affair. You know, sometimes you're given a ticket to something, you win an award for something, and the difficulty is finding the place. The difficulty is getting to the place. The difficulty is that you may even miss it. And you've had the ticket or whatever the case is, you lose it. So this is, you may be wondering, why is all of this even being mentioned? Well, it's being mentioned to put you at rest. This is an additional benefit, that don't even worry about this. You will be clearly designated your place and shown your place. Now, once people do enter into Jannah, what do they confront? Aside from all of the issues we've mentioned before, when you enter Jannah, what are you, how are you, what's your state, what do you, مَا يُسْتَقْبَلُونَ عِنْدَ دُخُولِهَا? What happens, what do you confront when you enter into Jannah? So again, we get some understanding from some of the verses in the Quran, Surah Al-Zumar, وَسِيقَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا رَبَّهُمْ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ زُمَرًا, that the people who have taqwa, they will be driven to Jannah in groups. And in Surah Maryam, Allah says, يَوْمَ نَحْشُرُ الْمُتَّقِينَ. This is such a beautiful verse. يَوْمَ نَحْشُرُ الْمُتَّقِينَ إِلَى الرَّحْمَنِ وَفْدًا. يَوْمَ نَحْشُرُ الْمُتَّقِينَ إِلَى الرَّحْمَنِ وَفْدًا. It just makes the hairs on your body stand at end, especially the wording, the choice of the language in Arabic. It means the day when we will gather the people of taqwa to the most merciful one. The people who had taqwa, we will gather them together in front of the most merciful one. Wafdan, as a delegation, as a group. That is what we will do. وَنَسُوقُ الْمُجْرِمِينَ إِلَى جَهَنَّمَ وِرْدًا. That's what Allah continues and says. and we will drive. Nahshur, we will gather. And then he follows that up by saying, وَيَوْمَ وَنَسُوقُ الْمُجْرِمِينَ إِلَى جَهَنَّمَ وِرْدًا. And we will drive the people, the mujrimeen, the criminals, the people who are guilty. We will drive them to Jahannam, which will be their abode. Generally, the wird is a place where you go to get water, the place where you go to relieve your thirst. So this is basically more agonizing, that Jahannam is not a place to relieve your thirst from. It's not a place from which you relieve your thirst. It's a place of intense punishment. So it's just rubbing it in and showing it that this is not the case. It's just to provide that contrast. What do you want? يَوْمَ نَحْشُرُ الْمُتَّقِينَ إِلَى الرَّحْمَنِ وَفْدًا. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among them. Ibn Abi Dunya relates a hadith with regards to this verse, يَوْمَ نَحْشُرُ الْمُتَّقِينَ إِلَى الرَّحْمَنِ وَفْدًا أَمَا وَاللَّهِ مَا يُحْشَرُ الْوَفْدُ عَلَى أَرْجُلِهِمْ وَلَكِنْ يُؤْتُونَ بِنُوقٍ لَمْ تَرَ الْخَلَائِقْ مِثْلَهَا. That when we're talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gathering everybody as a delegation, what's a delegation? What's a waft? Delegation is a special delegation on behalf of somewhere. It's a special group that represent a tribe, a people. That's what you call a delegation. And delegations are to be respected and to be honored. That's why Nu'man ibn Sa'ad here relates from Ibn Abi, in this transmission of Ibn Abi Dunya, that this verse, he says that by Allah, this delegation will not have to be gathered together here on their feet. They will not have to walk, but they will be provided with special camels. Nuq. This is a she camel, special she camels. No, and again it says she camel. Allah knows what exactly that kind of camel will be like in Jannah. What kind of special vehicle that may be, Allah knows best. But لم ترى الخلائق مثلها. The created beings have never seen anything like it. عليها رحال الذهب وأزمتها الزبرجد. It's got a very special saddle of gold, and its reins are made of special precious pearls. فيركبون عليها يضرب باب الجنة. They will be made to ride upon these, and then they will go and strike on the door of Jannah and knock on there. Ali ibn al-Ja'd relates with his transmission from Ali radiallahu anhu. This is a lengthy hadith. He talks about the exact description of what's going to happen. يُسَاقُ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا رَبَّهُمْ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ زُمَرًا. Those people who have feared Allah, they will be gathered towards Jannah in groups, until when they get to one of the doors of paradise, they will find by it shajara, a tree. There will be a tree outside the door of paradise, and from يخرج من ساقها يخرج من تحت ساقها عينان تجريان. Now this is the real fascinating and extraordinary picture of Jannah, that you've got these trees, and then underneath it, from its trunk, from the roots of its trunk, it seems, there will be two streams that will be flowing. Two streams. They will go towards one of them, كَأَنَّمَا أُمِرُوا بِهَا, as though they've been commanded. Naturally, they will just go towards one of these streams. فَشَرِبُوا مِنْهَا. They will drink from this stream. And this will remove مَا فِي بُطُونِهِم مِّنْ أَذًى أَوْ قَذًى أَوْ بَأْسًا. This will remove any dirt, any pollution, any toxic waste in their matter, in their stomach, anything that is generally considered to be that which will cause a human being to perish and to deteriorate. All of that will be removed. This will purify the inside, so that we have no matter inside left that will cause our bodies to deteriorate. Essentially, this is giving us the water. It's almost like saying you are being given permanence. Your bodies are being given permanence. That you will now be preserved. Special formula in this water that will clear everything up. So that's what will happen. Then they will go towards that other stream. فَتَطْهَرُوا مِنْهَا. And again, they will use that to purify themselves with. They will do some wudu with here, or whatever the case is. They will wash themselves with this one. They will drink from the first one. They will wash themselves with the second one. فَجَرَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ نَضْرَةُ النَّعِيمِ. Now the beautiful resplendency and shine and luster will come on their face and upon their bodies. فَلَنْ تَغَيَّرْ. To such a degree that once they wash themselves with this. Now this is a special elixir. If only they could bottle this and sell it in the world. Right? You know, better than all your Dead Sea salts and all of these other various creams and elixirs and these magic potions people like to spend huge amounts of money on. So anyway, it says that once this happens, فَلَنْ تَغَيَّرَ أَبْشَارُهُمْ أَوْ تَغَيَّرَ بَعْدَهَا أَبَدًا. From now their bodies will never change. They will never perish. They will never become old, never shrivel up, never become wrinkled or anything that generally happens. Their skin is now permanent in the beautiful way that it is right now. And وَلَنْ تَشَعَّثَ أَشْعَارُهُمْ كَأَنَّمَا دُهِنُوا بِالدِّهَانِ. Neither will their hair ever become disheveled. You know, we pray to Allah that somebody 200 years later, inshallah, will be listening to this. And if you are listening to this 200, 300 years later, then make dua for all of us. Whoever listens to this 200-300 years later, in the 22nd, 23rd, 24th centuries and beyond, please make dua for all of those who are sitting here. That Allah grants us Jannatul Firdaus. So, وَلَنْ تَشَعَّثَ أَشْعَارُهُمْ كَأَنَّمَا دُهِنُوا بِالدِّهَانِ. And it is as though they've been perfectly oiled. Their hair has been perfectly groomed with oil. That's how it become. ثُمَّ انْتَهَوْا إِلَى خَزَنَةِ الْجَنَّةِ فَقَالُوا. Then they will eventually reach the guardian of Jannah, who will say to them, سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ طِبْتُمْ فَادْخُلُوهَا خَالِدِينَ. What a beautiful welcome and a greeting that is. Peace be upon you. طِبْتُمْ. Remain excellently. Remain with excellence now. And enter it forever. This is not a place that you're just going to get a taste of. After 3 years, after 3 days, your booking is finished. And you have to leave. No, now this is here for you to enjoy forever. Then it says that then they will be met by their servants, the children who are in Jannah, their servants, who will take them around. كما يطيف ولدان أهل الدنيا بالحميم يقدم من غيبته. Just like, you know, when you come back from a journey and the children come and they take you around and everything, you know, you give you that kind of welcome. Like that. They will say, أبشر بما أعد الله لك من الكرامة. They've been waiting for centuries, years, who knows? They've been waiting. Can you imagine these people? They've been waiting because they've been created for you. So they've been waiting for you. And now finally you go there after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So you can imagine their satisfaction and happiness, their exhilaration. So they will say, look, accept the glad tidings of what has been, all of this honor that has been prepared for you in paradise. One of them will then go quickly to the maidens, the Hur al-Ain, the maidens, the pure virgins. And he will tell them, قَدْ جَاءَ فُلَانٌ. He'll give the name. You know, brother Yusuf is here. Brother Ismail is here. Finally, he's here. Ammar has come. The one you're waiting for. The same name, يُدْعَى فِي الدُّنْيَا, the same name that he was given in the world. And she will say, أَنْتَ رَأَيْتَهُ. You've seen him. You know, like we've been waiting for years. And remember, these women have not seen anybody else. These are not women who've tried any other man. They've not been with any other man. They've been created. They've not seen any other man, it seems. You've seen him? وَهُوَ ذَا بِأَثَرِي. It's just behind me. And the happiness will make them lightheaded, it seems. Right? And until they will stand but on the doorway. And when he gets to his residence, where they are, then he looks inside and he sees all these various things made out of pearl. جندل اللؤلؤ فوقه صرح أخضر وأصفر وأحمر. He will see his roof. It's got colors of green and yellow and red. All these different various pearls and rubies and emeralds and everything that's studied in it. وَمِن كُلِّ لَوْن. ثُمَّ رَفَعَ رَأْسَهُ. Then he's going to raise his head and he's going to look towards the ceiling. فَإِذَا مِثْلُ الْبَرْقِ. There he will see something like lightning. This is the light source, it seems. Something like lightning. فَلَوْلَا أَنَّ اللَّهَ قَدَّرَهُ لَهُ لَأَلَمَّ أَن يَذْهَبَ بِبَصَرِهِ. If it wasn't that it was specially regulated for him and specially decreed for him, it is very possible that this could take away your sight. That's the brightness of this thing. ثُمَّ. Then he is going تَطَأَ رَأْسَهُ. Then he's going to look down. فنظر إلى أزواجه وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة. And then he looks down, and that's when he sees. So first he seems like he's going to look up. Then when he looks down, because generally when you go in, you look up at the roof, at the ceiling, at the height of these things. And then after that he looks down and he sees there his wives. He sees the various thrones, places of elevated seating that are for him, the cushions, the rugs, and everything that has been placed down for him. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran as well. When he looks at this ni'mah, and then this is what they read: Alhamdulillahi alladhi hadana lihada wa ma kunna linahtadiya lawla an hadana Allah. All praise, they will say, all praise is. ثُمَّ اتَّكَأُوا. Then they will recline and relax, and then they will say this: all praise is for Allah, who guided us to this. We would never have been guided. We would never have reached this guidance had He not guided us. So shukr is coming from his tongue even in the hereafter. And then there will be an announcement. Now, you've gone in, then now this is a special phase. Once you've gone, you've seen all of this, you've made this statement. Then what happens is, to add to it, suddenly you get an announcement. They hear an announcement: تَحْيَوْنَ فَلَا تَمُوتُونَ أَبَدًا. Now remain alive, remain living. You will never die. And وَتُقِيمُونَ فَلَا تَضْعَنُونَ أَبَدًا وَتَصِحُونَ فَلَا تَمْرُضُونَ أَبَدًا. You will remain fresh, you will never perish, wither, never change, never get old. And you will remain healthy, and never will you become sick. There is no sickness in Jannah. You will never become sick. Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak then relates from Humayd ibn Hilal that ذُكِرَ لَنَا أَنَّ الرَّجُلِ. It has been mentioned to us that when a person enters Jannah, صُوِّرَ سُورَةَ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ, his form will be made like a person of Jannah. وَأُلْبِسَ لِبَاسُهُ. So basically, he won't be as he was in the world, 5 feet, 6 feet, 6.5, 7 feet, whatever it is. That's not how people are going to be in Jannah. He's going to be given the form, which means the length, the tallness, and the size of a person of Jannah, which will be described a bit more later. He will be given their garments of Jannah to wear. وَحُلِّيَ. And likewise, any adornments and any jewelry or anything that adorns him will all be like the people of Jannah. وَأُرِيَ أَزْوَاجُهُ وَخَدَمُهُ. And he will be shown his spouses and also his servants. And now it says that the excitement of his happiness, because he'll be so exhilarated, this excitement will overcome him. لو كان ينبغي أن يموت لمات من سوار فرحه. If it was possible for somebody to die out of exhilaration and happiness, he could have done so here. That's how happy they will be. You know, when you see something that you get that is just so, subhanallah, just excites you to the greatest degree. How long does that satisfaction last for in this world is the question. Like, just think back of something you got that made you so happy. The problem is that it makes you happy for how long? An hour, a few hours maybe, a day, 2 days, maybe a week, you remember it. But eventually, you need something else. That's the nature of the world. Now here, he gets so excited, and you think this is the initial excitement, which would be wonderful. But it's going to go eventually. No. فَيُقَالُ لَهُ, it will then be said to him, أَرَأَيْتَ فَرْحَتَكَ هَذِهِ, do you know this excitement of yours of this time? فَإِنَّهَا قَائِمَةٌ لَكَ أَبَدًا, it's going to remain with you forever. It's just not even, you can't even understand it, because there's no excitement in this world that remains forever. Some excitement for an hour, some for 2 days, some for 10 days, maybe, some for a bit longer, but it diminishes. This is going to remain forever. And subhanAllah, all of these things are being mentioned because it's just trying to give us an understanding, because you can't describe these things, you have to experience them. We have no frame of reference to these things, have we? We've got no frame of reference, so we can't experience these things in this world. So they're trying to describe the undescribable, the indescribable. But it gives us an idea. The way I've looked at it is that, look, I'm just hoping for better than I can even imagine. I mean, that's exactly what I'm hoping for. And I'm not going to limit my understanding of it. I'm not going to limit it in any way. There is no ceiling in Jannah. It's as high as you want to go in there. But work has to be done here. The higher you want to go there, the higher you need to go here. And there cannot be any ceiling in that regard. Nothing should stop you. So Ibn al-Mubarak, he then says in another narration from Abdurrahman that إن العبد أول ما يدخل الجنة يتلقاه 70,000 خادم كأنهم اللؤلؤ. When a person enters Jannah, he will be welcomed by 70,000 servants. 70,000. So you might be thinking, that's an overkill. What do you need 70,000 servants for? Am I ever going to even go through all of them? Like, I can understand 10 servants, maybe 30 servants, maybe 100 servants. Like 70,000 servants? Like, what do you need 70,000 servants for? Well, I'm sure you'd be satisfied. I'm sure you'd appreciate them when you get there. Now, as we read more, you'll understand what's going on here. There's another narration from Abu Nu'aym which mentions that when the believer enters Jannah, there's an angel that goes in front of him and he guides him through the pathways and says, "Unzur ma tara." What are you seeing? What do you see? "Ara akthara qusurin ra'aytuha min dhahabin wa fidda." He says, I've never seen so many palaces made of gold or silver. I've just never seen so many all over the place. And he says, "Wa aktharu anisin," and also very familiar, very congenial. Right? See, in this world, you go to a place which has, mashallah, all of these things, and you feel a bit strange in those places. They're not for you. They're just like something you can admire and, like get a bit excited about. They're not yours. Right? They're not yours. But here you're seeing all of this and you're feeling very familiar. You're not feeling strange. You're feeling very welcome. You're feeling at home. That's what he's saying. Then the angel says to him, all of this is for you. These are all yours. Until when he gets to his main residence, whatever it is, then he will be welcomed. At every door he's welcomed as he's going. Min kulli makan. Nahnu lak, we're all yours, we're all yours. Then the angel says, carry on. So he says, then he asks, what do you see? He says, I see such a huge force as I've never seen. So many, 70,000 servants. He calls that a force. He says, I've never seen such a force like that before. But yet so familiar and so congenial. He says, all of this is yours. And then they all say, Nahnu lak, and we're all yours, we're all yours. The next chapter is about the exact size He says, في ذكر صفة أهل الجنة في خلقهم وخلقهم وطولهم وعرضهم ومقدار أسنانهم and so on. Like, what's the body going to be like? Like, you've got all of these great things in Jannah. So what does that mean? Does that mean we're going to be the same as we are in this world and try to enjoy all of this? Or is our body also going to be adjusted to be able to take the greatest benefit and advantage of what's provided there? So that's what it is. Now, if you understand from a theological perspective that the human being as we are right now, these bodies that we have, right, that we look after so much and people are obsessed over in this world, and people have become narcissists in the way they deal with themselves and everything, and they show off and so on and so forth. These are just carrier bodies, right? This is just for this world. The reality of us is our soul will be given a new body in the hereafter. The only part that will be remaining from when we go in this from this world is just basically a part of the bottom of the backbone. That's from that a new body will be created. So let's look at this. Imam Ahmad relates this hadith from Abu Huraira radiyallahu anhu. A narration which is completely sahih, agreed upon. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Allah Azza wa Jal created Adam in his form. What that means is Allah created Adam alayhi salam in the form as an adult, because Adam alayhi salam did not go through an embryonic stages in the womb. He wasn't born from a mother and father. He was created as he was in his form. That's why I said Adam alayhi salam was created in the form that he was as an adult. He was created an adult. He wasn't a child. What is that? طُولُهُ سِتُّونَ ذِرَاعًا 60 cubits long. 1 cubit is about 48 to 50 centimeters. So 60 makes that how many meters? About 30 meters. 28 to 30 meters we're talking about in length. فَلَمَّا خَلَقَهُ قَالَ لَهُ When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam, that was the size of Adam alayhi salam. He said to him, اذهب, go فَسَلِّمْ عَلَىٰ أُولَٰئِكَ النَّفَرْ Go and make salam, go and greet that group of people who are sitting there. They were a group of angels who were sitting there. فَاسْتَمِعْ مَا يُحْيُونَكَ وَمَا يُحَيِّونَكَ Right? Go and listen to what greeting they give you. How do they greet you? Because that is your greeting and the greeting of your progeny. That will be finally your greeting. So he went and they said, Assalamu alaikum. He said, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. They said, Assalamu alayka wa rahmatullah. Peace be upon you and His mercy. So they increased the mercy. So everybody who now is going to enter Jannah is going to enter Jannah in the form of Adam alayhi salam. That's what you're going to get in Jannah. So don't worry about your bodies too much in this world. Because you're going to get a new body that is the size of Adam alayhi salam, which is about 30 feet. طُولُهُ سِتُّونَ ذِرَاعًا 60 feet in length. And he says, فَلَمْ يَزَلْ يَنْقُصُ الْخَلْقِ بَعْدُ حَتَّى الْآنِ The Prophet ﷺ said that unfortunately people, he didn't say unfortunately, he said people have continually become shorter and shorter and shorter over the centuries until now. Now it doesn't look like we've changed much during time from the Prophet ﷺ to us, because it's only 1400 years in the grand scheme of things, 1400 years approximately. Whereas between the Prophet ﷺ and Adam alayhi salam, it's many thousand years. Because just to Musa alayhi salam, it's 4,000 years from now, right? So there's many thousand years. So it's not much of a change. Imam Ahmad also relates another narration from Sa'id al-Musayyib from Abu Huraira radiyallahu anhu. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that people of Jannah will enter Jannah jurdan murdan bidan ji'adan mukahhalin, like in a natural state, which means basically unclothed, no hair, white, and almost like naturally antimony applied to their eyes. Abna'u thalathin wa thalathin. This is the important part. 33 years of age. The opportune age. That's the peak. Because once you get to 40, then you start you know. So 33 is like the opportune age. وَهُمْ عَلَى خَلْقِ آدَمْ سِتُّونَ ذِرَاعًا فِي عَرْضِ سَبْعَةِ ذِرَاءٍ. Now this hadith tells you one more thing. It tells you that 60 feet long, tall, and he says not 60 feet, 60 cubits, that means about 30 feet. And how many, if you've got a 30 meter person, what would be the ideal width of such a person? Because right now, we've got, let's just say you've got a person who's about 2 meters, which is very high, right? Very tall person. How wide should a 2 meter person be? How many centimeters? How many? 40. About 40 centimeters. So that is about 40%. No, that's not. It's about 20%. It's about 20%, right, of 2 meters. Right? That's if we go by 40. Right? Now, here, so if you've got 30 feet, then how many, sorry, not 30 feet, 30 meters, how many, what's, sorry? 6 meters across. He says, sab'atu adhru'. It'll be 7 cubits. Which means about 3.5 meters across. Right? Now where, I don't know, but you know, the body, the torso, I guess. Right? So around 7 years, about 3.5 meters across. So in Sunan, in the Jami' of Imam Tirmidhi, there's another narration from Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiyallahu anhu that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, same thing. There's another narration which mentions saying that the people of Jannah will enter into Jannah in this state that I mentioned earlier, and they will be 33 years of age. So 33 is the age that people will enter into Jannah with. And again, there's another narration that which adds here, Imam Tirmidhi narration, he adds here that in Jahannam that will also be the age of the person, 33 years old. Ibn Abi Dunya relates similar narration, and then he adds, it says people will enter into Jannah in the size of Adam alayhi salam ala husni Yusuf, but they will also have the beauty and handsomeness of Yusuf alayhi salam. And the age is ala miladi Isa 33 sana, the age of Isa alayhi salam when he was lifted up. Because we know about Isa alayhi salam when he was a child, then we know about him when he was around 30 to 33 years of age. Then we don't know anything more. Then he was lifted up. And that's the age, right? That's the age he'll come back with. وَعَلَى لِسَانِ مُحَمَّدْ جُرْدٌ مُرْدٌ مُكَحَّلُونَ. So that's the age. As far as the akhlaq is concerned, character, conduct, behavior, Allah says in the Quran, Surah Al-Hijr, وَنَزَعْنَا مَا فِي صُدُورِهِمْ مِنْ غِلٍّ إِخْوَانًا عَلَى سُرُرٍ مُتَقَابِلِينَ. We will have extracted from their hearts any feeling of rancor, hatred, enmity, all of these things. They will be brothers sitting facing one another on these great platforms. So there's no unhealthy competition in Jannah. There's no jealousy and envy in Jannah. Everybody gets to enjoy what they have. That's why in the Sahihain, Bukhari and Muslim, it says, أَخْلَاقُهُمْ عَلَى خَلْقِ رَجُلٍ وَاحِدٍ. Right? Their akhlaq is like the akhlaq of a single person, meaning they don't have any differences among them. Here, أَخْلَاقُهُمْ عَلَى خَلْقِ رَجُلٍ in this Bukhari and Muslim hadith could actually refer to the form, which means that all of them will be in length and breadth similar. There won't be any disparity in terms of their form, but there will be in terms of their appearance. Some will be more handsome than others, depending on where you are. So although form-wise everybody's going to be the same, but in terms of what you will look like, that will be different. Another hadith in Bukhari and Muslim mentions that لا اختلاف بينهم ولا تباغض. They will have no differences among them, and they will have no hatred between them. قلوبهم على قلب واحد. all their hearts will be like one heart. يُسَبِّحُونَ اللَّهَ بُكْرَةً وَعَشِيًّا. They will be glorifying their Lord morning and evening. So they're there for one purpose, which is to glorify their Lord and just enjoy themselves. Likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions the spouse, their spouses as being atrab, which means also at one age. None of them will be like old and haggardly, right? Or too young. All of them again will be in of a particular nation. Now, why 70? Why 30 feet? 30 or rather 60 cubits, and this much in breadth, and so on and so forth. He says because he explains. He says فَإِنَّهُ أَبْلَغُ وَأَكْمَلْ فِي إِسْتِيفَاءِ اللَّذَّةِ. It's to give you more room, more surface area, more real estate in terms of human, real estate to enjoy the pleasures there. Right? He's left that to your imagination. He's not describing that. Right? He says because لأنه أكمل سن القوة مع عظم آلات اللذة. He says because this age 33 is, you can say, the most perfect and opportune age of strength. And that's why, have you seen a lot of, there's that, was it that cyclist that won, she's 42 years old, right? Which is a very surprise for a lot of people that still getting at the age of 42. Most of these sports stars, there's some kid I met, one of my neighbors, he says that he's becoming a professional footballer. He's going to Italy. He's going to get, I don't know if he was exaggerating or what, but this is what he told me. He says he's going to make £4,000 a week, right? Which is, in a month, he said, I'm going to make 16,000, which in a year is about £180,000 for a kid of 17 years old, right? But how long is that going to last? Do you understand? How long are you going to play for? How long do footballers play for? Do you understand? So that's probably what it is. Now, I don't know if those figures sound right to you, right? For a kid of 17, I find it very surprising, man. Subhanallah, I should have been a footballer myself, right? La hawla. Alhamdulillah, I won't change. I won't change my career for anything. Right? But I wish I did play a bit more football. I would have been a bit healthier, so that would have been a bit better. But anyway, so I may have had a few broken legs and knees and all that kind of stuff as people do get through, but subhanallah. So he says that is the opportune age, along with the size of any of the limbs by which you will feel the pleasure and seek the pleasure. And when you have both of those things, when you have the strength and the size and the so on and so forth, then that is, he says, بحيث يصل في اليوم الواحد إلى 100 عذراء. He's going to be able to take on 100 virgins in a day. Now I know this is a very manly kind of sexualized interpretation, but that is one of the greatest pleasures of a human being is to have sexual intercourse and to make love, right? And that is going to be a major feature of Jannah. That's why Imam Ghazali, he mentions that making love in this world, having the pleasure of sexual intercourse and the orgasm, that gives you an understanding of because how long does it last? And then it's gone, right? But that gives you an understanding of what Jannah is supposed to be like. It's one of the peaks into Jannah. That's what it is. That's what he mentions. That one of the, in fact, some of the ulama have mentioned that people have become closer to Allah through experiencing this pleasure by understanding what it is in the hereafter. Now, you have to understand this, put in perspective to understand this. But that's why he says that a person is going to be able to basically have 100 virgins every day. Kama sayati insha'Allah ta'ala, as will be mentioned later on. That chapter is coming later on. Right? That's not here yet. It's just a preview, as you may be saying. And then he's saying also that look at this length and the breadth, the width, right? And look at the perfect proportion in that regard. He said if any one of them was to be more like, if it was 60 and anything different than the 60 and 3, right? 60 and 3, if it was any different proportion, if this was wider or that was taller, and this, then he says it would be يصير طولا مع دقة أو غلظا مع قصر, and that would be wrong. وكلاهما غير مناسب, and that would be that wouldn't be proportionate. Wallahu alam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. So all of this is so beautiful, but let us make our efforts to get to Jannah inshaAllah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us. Allah accept from us. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.